Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
Good evening. If I can interrupt.
You're never interrupting, please.
Thank you very much for the teaching of today. I was on and off with you. A couple of points which you have discussed and it's been brought up. One thing I couldn't understand, I arrived late, you were talking something about the Brazilian president doing something. Could you explain that, please?
Yes, he seems to be taking the position of the nationals in Brazil. That's the sense I got from this article. If I can just.
What does that mean?
Well, that he's trying to defend life and liberty. The headline is, "I would rather die than lose my freedom. Brazilian president slams vaccine passports." And this was written by LifeSite News. And here is his picture. And this was President Bolsonaro speaks during a press conference on International Day Against Corruption on December 9th, 2021 in Brasilia, Brazil. And he goes on to share about these passports and having two different classes sort of people. And he is definitely opposed to that. And he said he'd never take another one. And I also mentioned a couple workshops ago, or a couple Corona meetings ago, about how he was in New York for the UN conference, and him and his son had to eat pizza on the street because he wasn't apparently had the right paperwork as an international president, leader. I think that was just shameful. He compared the vaccine passes to a leash for dogs. So that's what I had brought up there. And hopefully, and it sounds like he's listening to the Brazilian knowledge seekers more and more, or at least getting, maybe some of his ministers are sharing some of this technology at the higher levels in Brazil, behind the scenes, of course.
Thank you very much. I think we're going to see a lot of movement by other people in this respect, and it will not be that hard to see that some of the world leaders now have faced this situation that all the tricks in the book, as we call it, has been used to force people to accept the injections and everything else, and it is unusual for president to take this position, but most of the world presidents sooner or later will take this position. Because we know, for example, in Austria, the what we call councillors, mayors, official leaders are exempt from receiving injection in any form or shape. They can decide if they want or they don't. And what it is important to us is that, does it mean that the leaders, the mayors, do not get the disease? Is this selectable, as I said in another teaching? And this is what has become a question mark since I've seen it, that the mayors tell you we don't need to have injection, we're exempt from it. And then you don't let the president in the building or a restaurant because he hasn't got the right documents. They're exempt. They're presidents, they're mayors. But then this, as I said, this package of energy was border conscious and intelligent. Now it's become position conscious and intelligent. And this will come into a lot of effects when world leaders or their families get the injections and they still get the corona and they get the worst type of corona. And then what we're going to do? And these are all part of what is going to do and what we're going to see. Thank you very much. There's something else I wanted to add is that we said we clean up the mess. In a way, Keshe Foundation has started this process of cleaning up the mess. And we showed you a couple of pictures, and now the construction is on the way, what we call technical planning of the CO2 capturing centers. Now it's gone into motion for the first CO2 capture, what they call sites, to be to go on the construction in the next few months. And then we'll see the effect of it. And we start from one city to another. And this will give us the same position. We start cleaning up the mess humanity has made for so long. And other messes to be cleaned up the same. And CO2 now is a front runner for what I call cleaning up. And we will see Keshe Foundation extremely involved in these things. And we'll bring forward, as I said, I was talking to, communicating with other knowledge seekers. We've gone through the same process as before. As I said, we asked, we gave the key to the governments. They didn't do anything. We gave to knowledge seekers. They spread more of it. And a lot of scientists got hold of it. They did something else with it. And then we came to do it ourselves and as knowledge seekers. Now we are back in the same position. We gave a chance to knowledge seekers and to governments to do something with the CO2 they didn't do. We start doing it ourselves. The same will go with the enhancement units. And it's come back to us to start doing it and delivering it, and it will bring a lot of changes. In respect to the 5+1, goes back the same way. We left it to the government to do it. But as of last week, Keshe Foundation has become 5+3. We have become the third force in negotiations, independent of any government. And is on the strength of the technology we are delivering. In a way, we become a third wheel or third group in the 5+1 indirectly but directly in negotiations. And now it's all of us. It's not anymore behind or backed or be part of the Iranian government. Keshe Foundation, in a newer structure of negotiation as of last week, is the third party into negotiations. And it's a pleasure to be in that position, as now what we propose, what we put forward, it gives a solution to all the nations to work together. How far we'll succeed, we do not know. How far we bring the sides to negotiate, we don't know. We left it to the government to do it, and we see it even the return of the Iranian team from Tehran on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday has all been the same problem. And now there's more accusation. The only way to diffuse it is what we have put forward. We are putting ahead with, and we're saying, doesn't matter you lot, whatever you are doing, Keshe Foundation has a solution. And as a part of the will that all of you find a solution to walk away with your dignity and integrity. And as of past 2 weeks, Keshe Foundation, we didn't want to announce it. The reason I announce it today is that we need the support of all of you, worldwide, to the way you support the world peace, to support that the Keshe Foundation is an independent group attached to all of them and detached from all of them to succeed in these negotiations. It's a very harsh way to take it. It's a beautiful solution to accept it. The solution in writing and hard copy was delivered to the Iranian negotiators before they leave Tehran, some 2 weeks ago. And now it's put on the table as independent solution for negotiation by Keshe Foundation. Being an Iranian technology-based, but international-based right across the world. And we have to see how we can pull this as an independent negotiator, but the holder of a technology in these negotiations. It is, it's beautiful to see that such an organization has achieved such a position that it brings a lot of support to us, a lot of hope to us in how using the position and the condition created has given the Keshe Foundation, they're just about to get a seat on the negotiation table as an independent but influential. And if this happens in next month or so, will change a lot of things for the Keshe Foundation. As one of the knowledge seekers who's very close to our work and is aware of everything happening, he said, do you know what this means? It means we become one nation. In a way, we become solution providers for the even superpowers. That changes the game. And I hope with the support of knowledge seekers, Keshe Foundation is a third group, independent, but part of the what we call scientific solution, and everybody can walk away with a what I call a not the red face, but the green face with happiness, has become part of. We are inside, and we got to see if the situation takes shape the way it's supposed to, or we have to take a different direction. As I said, we left it to the governments to do it. They didn't do it. We came and did it ourselves and shared it with knowledge seekers. They're back in the same position. We gave our support to the nations, to the Iranian government, and they delayed in play. They took the best, but there's still one other bit. Now the Keshe Foundation has entered directly into the negotiation on the background and the front. And we will see how we'll take shape, how our proposition and our technology will bring us together as all the nations. And it gives a chance to everybody to save their face, as we say in the negotiations. Because now when you become desperate, you throw allegations and all sorts. I mean, we were waiting for this. We saw the Iranians do it this week. We're saying the cameras of the IEA was used to spy for Israel. And now the table has got very hot. But this gives us the opportunity where the governments failed to come in. And I'm proud to explain and for the knowledge seekers who are here, and I'm sure this will be heard beyond. Keshe Foundation has become part of the negotiation directly, not by the support of other nations. And as you prayed and supported the soul of the negotiators, maybe that was the solution, that they come to the point that we become the solution makers as to support, which means we need that kind of support from you as much as you do it on your own. For the others, for other organizations and groups in this negotiation. We have said to the people and the groups we are engaged in that we go public with every development, that nations know what's going on, which is all of us as knowledge seekers. We try to keep some matters in the background, but some other matters will be front run. We are hoping to reach some sort of understanding, but again, you have to understand there's a lot against our work and there's a lot against what we offer. And hopefully, as an independent part of this negotiating team, we will be able to bring everybody on the table. And I have great hopes that we achieve it by 21st of December, or at least we saw the seeds of this way of thinking by 21st of December. And that will be, as I said, the wishes of Mitra, which is the believer in what they call peace. And we'll see where we go. And so what I ask the knowledge seekers is to support us with your soul, not as independent part of these negotiations, but still attached to part of the other parts, will succeed. And I have great hopes in succeeding this time with them. And we started it in 2012 with President Obama, with the first handshakes on the table to start and talk of the peace. Maybe we bring it to the point, as like the CO2, we come to clean up what the humanity has done. We come to clean up and bring humanity to peace. And I cannot ask for any more than what you all have done, that is put the Keshe Foundation in this position. And at the same time, now, Keshe Foundation, as an independent organization itself, is involved and is getting involved in peace talks. We were the creators of it, and we left it to the children to put the jigsaw together, and now we have to get involved to complete the jigsaw. It'll be done, I hope. If we don't get more obstructions and more what they call by the governmental structures who have other ideas, we should succeed. And I have great hopes. When I left on Friday, in the process of the meeting, I knew, and I said to somebody close to me, we got them where we want them. And pray for us as a whole and the negotiating teams that they accept to go the path, which makes them all equal and share of technology equally to all of them. It's the key. And for this purpose, we have even now changed the whole of the exhibition in a different way to receive the world leaders. And hopefully by middle of this week, we'll be in that shape that even our exhibition center will be shaped for the world to see the change in technology and what it'll bring with it, the peace. And let's see what it comes out. And this is the only thing I ask, especially from Universal Council members, to support us every hour of coming weeks not just on Mondays, Wednesdays, 6 o'clock or 12 o'clock, that we receive that breakthrough where humanity has failed to break through. And I have a lot of hope that we will succeed. We will succeed, but this success will bring a lot of changes. And it'll bring a lot of compromises, it'll bring a lot of understanding. And thank you very much for being knowledge seekers to bring us to where we are. Thank you very much.
Mr. Keshe has opened his mic. I think he would entertain a question or a few questions if you'd like. One of my thoughts is we know the doctors have been involved in this, and many of them know they're abusing the patients in a way. I'm sure they get feedback and so on, but yet they continue. Is there a plan or a save a face for religious leaders? I know you've asked them to take their frocks off, but is there a way that they can be part of the Keshe Foundation? They're very influential at the highest levels, and as well as with the man on the street, maybe not as much as in previous years, but is there a plan for them, if they'd like to pick up the knowledge, to be part of this and maybe admit that many of them, I think, are well-intentioned, but again, they're forced into some sort of conveyance of knowledge that they know is not correct. Is there any, go ahead.
See, the view, especially in Vatican and in Tehran and in Jeddah and Jerusalem, is very clear about Keshe Foundation. What has brought a lot of attention to our work is what is the next step for them? What is to be done if such a thing takes place? And we have reports coming directly from Vatican. We have reports which come from inner structure of the Islamic structure of the Iran, that they are all expecting what we call the manifestation of what we call Mahdi and Messiah in 2022. And the religious organizations at the highest level in Iran have made themselves ready to protect him on his announcement. This is the direct line from the highest ranking religious groups in Iran. The same sits with Vatican. Vatican is ready for the manifestation in 2022. They have promised that they are ready for it. They even have organizations set to confirm it on his announcement. And the same goes with the religious leaders in Jerusalem. Islamic leaders have announced that they are ready for the manifestation and they are there to protect it with their lives. This is that extent is set well to complete. And so with it comes new dimension and directions. If they have prepared themselves for such a thing, doesn't mean they have already set their seat. Don't forget, I always said, even I sent a message to His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran in past few weeks. Till the time comes, whoever announces is a Messiah, you or Mahdi, you have to confirm or deny. Who is going there to be one day to be confirmed? Yes, it is, and it brings a change. Why? You have to decide as religious leaders than the what they call it, the telling of time. My communications with Iranian leadership is not through, it's by voice. We send messages, voice messages, the way we see, the way we interact, and it's given to the world leaders. I record sometimes 3 or 4 of these messages a week because they don't believe even the emails, even the telegram messages. They want to hear in voice. And I said both to Vatican and to Islamic world and to the Jerusalem people. When are you going to decide that yes, whoever comes is the Messiah? Who are you to decide when you don't even have the knowledge yourself? And yes, there is a big dilemma. We are very open. We're very, very open about the things we do, and the way we do it. Our proposal for peace was read and was given directly to Iranian leadership before Iran team left there. In black and white. And they know there is no other way about it. I said this before, if you understand, if non-seekers understand, you pick up any of you and ask you want to see the Pope. Even the world leaders want. We call on a Friday and on Monday morning we are at home of the Pope, invited to come. We are peacemakers, and with it, we have to make peace with the religious leaders and thanking them for bringing humanity to where it is today. It's a handover time. You've done your job. You delivered the position on time. As I said, it's like a taxi driver. It was your job to bring humanity to here and deliver. And now from now on, it's for us to complete the job. By fear, by goodwill, by whatever, mankind is where it is now. And now the time has come to change. The change is absolutely inevitable in the next 12 months. We will see nations racing to beat each other in technology. We will see even the Keshe Foundation is part of its work is in this, what I call the race, to encourage, to bring, to develop. We used to ask knowledge seekers, even like in Canada, you buy 2 machines, you buy 3 machines, we give you 3 more, and then you don't. We don't do this anymore. I wrote to one of the knowledge seekers, I don't know if he's here or not, he can tell you, in today's communication, or yesterday's communication, that up to now, we ask governments, we are here to see what we, how you can help us to set up a factory. What we, from now on, we go, we are here, we're investing, we got nothing to do with you. What would you like us to help you with? There's a big difference. And we are in that position. You will see the massive changes in Keshe Foundation work in the United States and in our position in the what we call the American stock market. We will see a massive influential point by the end of this year. And then we'll see an uprising of one of the most powerful organizations in the stock market ever known. And that will bring us huge, huge benefits towards becoming one of the most powerful, peaceful, what we call organizations, which can influence by what I call knowledge. And religious leaders know what is about to come. There, as I said before, the numbers, the days are numbered. and we'll see it. And yes, they know. They fully know what is just about to, I would say, when the train is going to stop. Thank you very much.
Well, Micah says in the chat, thank you, Mr. Keshe. I will give from my soul to elevate those on the peace negotiations table 24/7 until the goal of world peace is achieved. We all need to do this together 24/7. Doug from Australia, we send from our souls in every moment that the KF is successful in bringing peace and harmony to all participants at the 5+3 Peace Conference in Vienna. Jason said a huge difference. Good news. I like the idea of your voice messages because your voice has a way to reach right to the soul of man. And I think you've confirmed this is the way you teach, not with blackboards and telegrams, but through the fields of your soul. And we're learning a little bit about this.
Mark?
Yes, Selena.
Yes. One time I heard the lesson from the Greg Biden. He was talking about the Indian people, American Red Indian people. When they want rain, they dance in the dirt. They think the rain is already happened, and the dirt is muddy, watery, so they're dancing in there. So when they do that, and then suddenly rain comes. So in this situation, we can think about the peace treaties happen. So we can feel that in our heart, and we can enjoy the negotiations done for. So we can be happy and feel about that in our heart. So that way we can try too, right? We can pray and we can do that too. I am always doing that. So that's why I'm telling you that, and that way too we can try. It's already
Beautiful.
happened.
Beautiful. Yes, and as people start to learn more about the Keshe Foundation and they find out that it's an organization that is set up to not to abuse the man in all the different areas, I think the people will be flocking to the Keshe Foundation once they understand it more. They'll have a desire to say, this is what I want for myself and my children and my grandchildren, instead of struggling so hard their whole life and ending up with not too much or not much to pass on to the others. Now they'll see that that whole paradigm, that whole structure that's set up to basically keep us in a dwarfed condition is about to change. So more and more people will be doing this and getting involved with the Keshe Foundation, realizing this is a technology that is not here to abuse anyone or any life in any shape or form, but only to give to and to add to the souls. So I think once this is starts to catch on and people understand more and more, the people will be moving towards the foundation in a much more massive way. But I don't think many of the nationals realize that their leadership is exempt from all this that they're going through. We've seen many of the leaders on television taking what has been advised to take, but apparently that has not really true either. But of course, as you said, it's their choice whether to or not. But when you start to read some of the varied reports from children to top athletes, just finding them, gone from the planet, it does make one have to consider something else. But very beautiful, Mr. Keshe, the way you've delivered, and you're still delivering and will continue to deliver. And we want to replicate this amongst ourselves and respect all the different lives, whether it's the animals or the people or the plants. And we're going to learn more and more. I'm sure it's not going to be like a magic wand and everything changes, but we're going to change the direction of this planet in a very large way. And it's for the benefit of all of us. And I think the souls are convincing some of the leaders at the top level, convincing that soul of physicality that it's time to throw the towel in and move in a new direction. So thank you very much. And thank you for asking us to help in this manner as well. It's giving us more confidence to work with our souls.
Something with what just was said about Red Indians making a dust on the dirt and making the rain. Why does it happen? We maybe at that time couldn't explain. Maybe now with the knowledge we have, we can explain how correct they were and replicate it with them, what we call with the support of knowledge, because what we are endeavoring into to create the reign of peace and the negotiators. Scientifically, I explained this some times ago. I don't know if there is a recording of it somewhere or not, or somewhere, whatever time. The Red Indians with the rain dance have actually created a scientific motion and a notion for creating the what we call the condition for rain without them knowing. The body of the man contains water. The body of man, when beats the ground, creates a specific frequency which is connected with what his body is made, which is 95% water. Now we know scientifically that thunders, or lightning we should call, it starts from earth up, not from the cloud down. And when you can get a number of people dancing to a rhythm, which the same as what we call in homeopathic, the strength of the field of the water, because now it's not a hammer, it's the water which beats the ground. You can, if you get it right, create the energy release that is trying to reach the man, to reach the sky, to bring the condition of the cloud and rain. Scientifically, all of us we can do. If we get enough number of people, and if it's done with a right, what we call beat, as we call it, as we spoke last time on Thursday teaching, we create a condition of monoenergetic, which goes from ground up as it's trying to reach us. It reaches the sky, it collects the particles which can relay. And once you start one rain, the rest will follow. So scientifically, it is, with the knowledge we have, the Red Indians, knowingly or unknowingly, created that condition of the release of the energy from the earth up, which, as we know, leads to the creation of the lightning. But in that process, leads to creation of gathering of the moisture and the rain. They created the rain to come with their own answers for the frequency of the water. We understand homeopathy and how the energy is released. And then if you do it long enough, you can create the first energies from earth up, which then it leads to creation of the cloud and rain. So now, if instead of the Red Indians doing the rain dance, the knowledge seekers do the peace dance with their soul and their thoughts, I'm sure the rain of peace will rain upon the Vienna team.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. But we need it, and we need a lot of support. It's not going to be an easy job. And it's not going to be a day job. Once we reach it, then we have to establish the next steps, building up the trust. And it's a lot of work.
Yes. We need to spread the message to all knowledge seeker to dance.
And that's what we played earlier. When you said, if it's your wish to see peace, path of peace is made very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness by giving will create a position of change. When I first heard that, I thought maybe we would give things to people that needed help, physical things. Your neighbor needed food or shelter or clothing or something like that. But now I'm realizing it's actually giving from the soul. And if we have this collective awareness that we can give from our souls, how powerful that can be, as was just explained.
You see, the will of God serves different way, which has got to be done. Doesn't matter what people do. And always the enemies of the foundations help the foundation without them knowing better than the knowledge seekers. You know that we explained those who we literally kicked out of the foundation about a year and a half ago. They sent 2 terabytes of information to the Iranian officials, to Iranian parliament, to stop Keshe Foundation to be part of the Iranian structure and grow. And they played a huge, pressure on the Iranian officials, where one of the leading scientists has this and that, and is a supporter of Israel and a spy. And as you saw, the letter of mine, private letters, part of the instruction negotiation with Israel was put on the internet at very early stages. And very recently, we've seen documents shown trying to. When I looked at these, I thought, there must be a reason for it. We have to keep quiet. And today, sitting here, I see the reason for it. And I'm grateful for the damage they're trying to do, which brought us success. In them trying to deliver 2 terabytes of private, confidential documents, emails, whatever, which is being part of the Keshe Foundation, which more or less is stolen from the foundation, allowed us to become independent part of the negotiation and influential. They actually served us. Is the destiny of the what I call the time and the place and the creator to now become independent part of the negotiation. If we would have stayed on the shadow of Iran, the way it was set up and the way it was going, then we would have been another Iranian organization, part of the Iranian team. Now we are independent of any of the nations. And this is because of the problems they tried to create, the doubts they created in the, what do you call it, in the structure of the Iranian societies, ruling parties. And this was actually a gift. And when it unfolded, I thought always our enemies brought us the best results, better than the knowledge seekers. When you sit with the negotiators, when you sit at the seat where you know your knowledge and your supporters are behind you, it brings a huge pleasure. If they would not done that, if they thought the damage was, but in a way, the enemies always work to our benefit. And it's amazing how it has worked. And it is, I should say, thanks to their greed, thanks to their abuse, it has become the Keshe Foundation to be independent on its own and a peace breaker, a negotiating peace breaker with a lot of work to be done. It's not going to be there just because we are there, we achieve peace. There's a lot of work to get them to work, to accept, to go through the peace process. And always, the more they went out to damage us, the more they brought us to a point of the maturity and to grow. And thanks to 2 terabytes of lies and cheats, the way it was set up, allowed us to become part of and become independent now. As I was explaining this afternoon, to the work of what we do in negotiations, we started a 5+1 peace talks between Iran and the United States on the 17th of December 2012 in Brussels. And maybe after 9 years, in the same December of 2011, we can actually write the letters of peace ourselves to completion without the nations. It's been 9 years of looking at how and bringing how and now delivering the technology. And it will be very interesting if after 9 years, the organization which has started the peace talks manages to put the signature into the action, but it's true peace. It's very interesting in how things have turned up. What they thought that damaged us was actually brought us to the point of being strong, still having the backing of the Iranian government, but independently being fair negotiators gives us that chance. Let's see what we can do and how we can break this through. But we need that support. Every second that we bring it home, we bring it in, and in a way, we started it. We have to finish it up, and with finishing it off, we should be able to achieve peace. And it's not going to be easy. Let's see how your soul dances to creating the ring of peace for all of us to enjoy. Thank you very much.
Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.